We want to have a real up-to-date, smart city, as I told you, worthy of governance of Egypt. It always starts by the first step. As the Chinese proverb says, the long march starts with the first stride. This has been part of the general strategy since the inception of the idea in 2015. The new administrative capital is a capital for governance, where the government is going to be situated in a very modern way. But Cairo remains the capital of Egypt.
March 13, 2015, at the Egypt Economic Development Conference, Housing Minister Mustafa Madbouli announced the new administrative capital.
Today we're going to be approaching the topic of the new administrative capital of Egypt. And as we know, in December, the Egyptian government actually moving to the new administrative capital, and we have quite a lot of doubts about that. So today, first of all, I want to ask you, what is the role of this new administrative capital?
Well, first of all, is that it is a vision for a new governance of Egypt, a new vision on how Egypt should be governed in a modern way, to leave away all the traditional shackles and problems. And on the other side, we expect to double our population within 40 years if we continue with the same level of population growth that we have right now. So you need new cities to absorb this population in the medium and long term.
How does it differ from Cairo?
Cairo is a very big cosmopolitan city that has been expanding throughout time, and it had reached a stage when it became very overpopulated. It is a center of attraction, so many people come to work in the morning and they leave back, commuting back to the governorates around it. So this is very important for us to understand that the new administrative capital is a capital for governance, where the government is going to be situated in a very modern way, in a very advanced way for the governance. Most of these institutions of government is going to be there. But Cairo will always remain Cairo.
So the new administrative capital will not take the place of Cairo, or in another way, Egypt will not be having two capitals?
No, this, as I told you, this is a new administrative capital, a new governance capital. But Cairo remains the capital of Egypt.
Okay. Another question is, so this project was announced back in 2015. What makes the government decide that this year is going to be the year?
Well, actually, it was supposedly last year was the year. Because of the COVID pandemic that struck around the world, we had to postpone the movement to the new capital for this year. And then gradually, until by 2022, we are going to move our whole government structure there. This has been part of the general strategy since the inception of the idea in 2015. I think this is a very intelligent decision. It is a very modern decision, and it's a very visionary decision. You have mentioned in your introductory remarks the transfer will happen by December. It is like a soft opening.
Soft opening?
Soft opening. Only a percentage of the different ministries are going to go there, because nothing happens overnight. There has to be a gradual transition period so that the system of government does not face a moving problem. Why is it urgent? I think Egypt deserves the infrastructure and the general system by which administrative governance should reach its height.
Cairo is the heart of Egypt. It hosts 21 million people, 1/5 of the country's population. However, as Cairo has expanded, like many other cities in the region, Cairo's population has grown tremendously and is projected to nearly double by 2050. Because of this issue, Cairo, with its thin and chaotic streets, has become extremely congested and is now one of the busiest cities in the world, with a population density of 50,000 people per square mile.
Comments on you've mentioned it before, overpopulation has become a concern. You think then as well?
Including, you need to expand. And this is exactly what the Egyptian government has had in mind. You need to expand, but you never have a one-dimensional city, which is only for governance. You are going to have a business district there, a governance system, where all the government is located in one place. This is very crucial for the quality of governance.
It is quite challenging to build a capital in the middle of desert. And how's it going so far?
Oh, it's going splendid. It's going at a very fast rate. We are following it. We want to have a real up-to-date, smart city, as I told you, worthy of governance of Egypt. With the desert also, it doesn't make things the easiest, because to extend the infrastructure to it is, but it is part of the general ambition of Egyptian people. Everything is planned. Mm-hmm. This is going to be linked to many places, many cities. People can come and go without the hazard of having to wait for an hour and a half or going by traffic and things like this.
The new administrative capital covers an area the size of Singapore, directly in between Cairo and the seaport city of Suez. The city will be the largest planned city ever, built in 3 phases.
I haven't found the name of the city. Has it decided yet?
So far, we call it the new administrative capital, but that's something that remains to be seen. And
yeah.
Let's see how it's going to go.
Yeah. Who will be the first to live there?
Probably the first are going to be the government employees there, expecting 40 to 50,000. And then by the time the whole structure of the administrative capital is established, you're going to have the influx of the people going. It always starts by the first step. As the Chinese proverb says, the long march starts with the first stride. So I think that the first stride is going to be moving 10% of the ministries and the governance structure by the beginning of December or the end of December.
Do you think people will be willing to move there?
People, it is going to be some will be very enthusiastic to go there. Others will tell you, no, I'm very happy with the way I am here. Others will tell you it's a new opportunity, it's a new horizon, it's a new land, it's a new vision. Let us go there, let us start. And I think these people are the ones who are going to enjoy it to the maximum.
Well, smart city sounds pretty tempting to me.
It is very tempting.
Yeah. And also want to ask, like, Cairo is home to a lot of cultural heritages. I want to ask, does the government plan to move the cultural antiques to the NAC or?
No, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Cairo is Cairo. The smell of history is there. You're not building a new administrative capital to suck down all the cultural heritage from Cairo to the new place. How are you going to move the pyramids, the citadel, the mosque, cathedral? Oh, no, Cairo will stay as Cairo.
Yeah, I really love how you say Cairo will remain Cairo. Everyone's very emotionally attached to Cairo itself. Yeah.
Of course, I mean, Cairo is an integral part of Egypt. You can smell the history of Egypt, the Pharaonics, the Hellenics, the Roman, the Islamic, the Coptic heritage there. And you just cannot come and say, we are going to take everything. And this is not the aim of the new administrative capital.
I get what you mean.
So there is always going to be synergy and complementarity between what Cairo is and what the new administrative capital is.
A smart, modern city to strengthen the country's economic potential and to serve as a new administrative and financial capital. The capital's business district will have 20 skyscrapers, including the 80-floor, 385-meter-tall iconic tower, which after completion will be the tallest building in Africa.
If you were to introduce NAC to the whole world, what would you say?
Governing Egypt in the 21st century.
Very well said. And in 3 words?
Governing Egypt in 21st century.
Okay.
5 words.
5 words.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's great. And do you think this new administrative capital will be able to avoid urban diseases?
As I told you, this is a smart city based on the ultra-modern vision of urban planning. Energy conservation, traffic lighting are also done by ITs, up-to-date recycling, waste management. Everything is done by the book of modernity. And by the way, its size is 180,000 fedan, which is nearly the size of Singapore. And we hope that we are going to reach the level of Singapore in this matter.
And so the next part is our last part, and we want to ask about like the cooperation between Egypt and China. The CBD project is partly undertaken by
China Construction.
the Chinese Construction Engineering
Group.
Cooperation,
Yeah.
and it is also a landmark project for the Belt and Road Initiative. And I want to ask you, what do you think of it so far? Like,
Well, let me first tell you that CBD, or the business district, is a very important and integral part of the new administrative capital. And they're doing a very, very efficient job. We're very satisfied. And what is very important is that they are building the biggest or the highest tower in Africa. And it is going to be a sign of Egyptian-Chinese relationships for decades and centuries to come.
That's great.
Yes.
And so this year marks the 65
Anniversary.
years anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship between
Absolutely.
China and Egypt. How would you comment on the relationship between Egypt and China so far?
We were the first African, Middle Eastern and Arab countries to have established a relationship between Egypt and China. And we're both very proud. Beijing and Cairo are very proud of this. And our relationship passed through different phases. But I can tell you that the highest phase of Egyptian-Chinese relationship has been undertaken by the mutual decision of His Excellency President Xi Jinping and His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi back in 2014. The decision has been made. Now we have upgraded our partnership to a strategic partnership, and we have decided to even upgrade it and go beyond this. It is a strategic decision undertaken by the two presidents. We have reached the height of our relationship with China. Be this as it may, this is not the end of it.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah,
It's just the beginning.
that's like my next question. Like, what do you think is going to be like?
The road is open, the sky is the limit, as long as it is within concept of mutual benefit, mutual interest, and mutual respect. The road is wide open.
Well, are all the like Egyptian elements here been here all the time? Or?
Yes, ever since the opening up of the embassy. After COVID, we turned this into a lecture hall, sometimes for reception hall, but now, more importantly, is our communication center with the rest of the world, or online meetings. So we had this.
We sell battery back in 2012.
Besides my job, of course.
Yeah, sure. How long have you been in China for?
2 years.
Where were you before?
I was previously Assistant Foreign Minister in Egypt, but before that I was Ambassador to Moscow. I've traveled to the 12, 13 provinces. From Xinjiang to Shanghai, to Shaanxi, to Shanxi, to many places,